quick reminder, if you need coaching, I'm on Medify, so check out the link in the video description to check out my page. What's up, guys? I have another video for you guys today, first one of Season 9 actually, and this one is in regular Great League. I actually did a lot of research in regular Great League teams. I did not realize remakes would be available at the same time. Before we get into the team, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters, could not be doing this without you guys. But yeah, let's get right into it. So this team here, it is a Galarian Stunfisk team. I really don't like Galarian Stunfisk. I don't like the fact that it's in the meta, but hey, if something is this good, you do have to use it. And with Shadow Granbull, this team, despite Shadow Granbull being the switch, was kind of a team that started with Shadow Granbull in the first place and trying to figure out what I could do to make this work. If you played my last team, at the end of last season, I was getting very sick of all the Sableye in the back and the Umbreon in the back, so I figured making a team with two types that can deal heavy fairy damage, I'd be able to take a little bit of advantage of this meta. So the way this team works, we've got Galarian Stunfisk in the lead. Shadow Granbull is the safe switch, or essentially the sacrificial switch. It is an ABB team, and then Altaria should be able to carry you in the back. So when Granbull comes in, Bastiodon's going to come in, G-Fisk is going to come in, all those very annoying steel types are going to come in. And the thing that Shadow Granbull can do that a lot of these other Charmers can't is actually threaten these steel types with close combat. Also, newly buffed Crunch, it won't be that big of a deal with Shadow Granbull, but it has a 30% chance to drop debuffs, which is a pretty big deal. So that can flip some of these games. I've seen it already. Defense drop an Azu, so I was able to take it out. But yeah, Shadow Granbull does an absolute ton of damage. The other thing about running this team is that a lot of the times when you switch in that Shadow Granbull, people will assume you're running a degenerate team like Double Charm and make plays around that. I'll highlight the game where my opponent expressly said that they came into my chat. I was streaming these games. My stream is also in the description. And they came into my chat afterwards, said good game, and said, yeah, I expected the other Charmer. And you'll see how that play actually ended up losing them the game, just because of those expectations as well. So we have a Toxicroak lead. This is awful. I switched into Shadow Granbull, but unfortunately this is Poison Jab Toxicroak. So this is just a friendly reminder to please check Toxicroak's moveset before you switch into it. If it's Poison Jab, you can stay in with Stunfisk. Just don't switch into Granbull at that point. In this case, I'm going to swap into Altaria to catch that Mud Bomb that they're likely throwing at my Stunfisk. And then in comes Shadow Ho-Oh, so yikes. Yeah, so this is the problem with making a video about the games from the first day. I didn't show my first two sets here. I thought I'd climbed enough, and if you'll see in these games, I'm mostly playing legend poses, but the thing is some people are still running some Extreme Spice or Auto-Rect here, so not all these games are going to be representative. This one is definitely not going to be representative of how this team should normally function. Obviously, if you get your switch destroyed like that in Shadow Granbull, it's kind of hard to make it back, but when your opponent is running Misdreavus and in Shadow Ho, I feel like you've got a pretty good chance of, regardless what's in the back here. And Altaria is able to just take out the rest of the team. Like, it's not a big deal at all. Yeah, no, we have some real teams, I swear. That was that battle should not have been second, but I don't rearrange my battles, right? This is just all in a row. We have Swampert lead. This is not good, so we're gonna swap right out into Shadow Granbull, and they have Shadow Beedrill, so this is pretty rough. At this point, they're throwing because they don't want to have to shield. It works out for them, but I do have Galarian Stunfisk to deal with this Beedrill. Droron does a lot of damage, like a lot, but it's not Shadow Beedrill, so my G-Fisk is still useful after I've built up to 2 rock slides. Still want to have a little bit of energy to throw out that Swampert if I need to. But I make a little bit of a miscalculation. I can't quite get to the Earthquake in time. That's fine. We're just going to hope that Altaria can just solo win this game. And when they stay in and start throwing Hydro Cannons, this is when you should start shielding, right? Because if they're doing something dumb, your opponent generally is not dumb, right? They know, I know they're just at a Hydro Cannon, but why are they throwing it, right? There's got to be a reason. In this case, they're shielding and throwing Hydro Cannons. I really should have shielded this one. I really should have shielded this one too. But yeah, a bit of a misplay. And then they come in with Shadow Metagross, so this is why they were really just hoping to get a fast move beat down on my Altaria here. If I'd shielded that Hydro Cannon, I would have been able to get to... probably would have been able to farm this Metagross down after a Sky Attack worth of damage, which I'm going to get to here anyways. Yeah, look how much damage that Sky Attack does to Shadow Metagross. But yeah, I would have been able to win that game if I had just spent a shield earlier on a Hydro Cannon. But it is what it is. Yeah, bit of a poor read by me. I didn't really think what they could have in the back that would fast move down Altaria, but there it was. We have Bastiodon lead, so this is great. We're going to stay in for a bit, and then in comes Venusaur, and this is Grasshole. So I thought it was Grasshole, so I was a bit scared at this point in time. Granbull cannot deal with Shadow Victory Bell. So I need my Altaria to deal with both the grasses in my head. That's what I was doing, so I farm it all the way down. I don't want it to get to another Sludge Bomb, and my goal here is to stall the Switch Timer with all these Sky Attacks so that I can get out to my Shadow Granbull and force them to come in with their last grass type. And then I have my G-Fisk for their Bastiodon. But instead, I should have waited a little bit longer in that other matchup. I'm not able to stall the Switch Timer long enough for my Altaria to have enough HP to deal with another grass type. In this case, Stunfisk is actually pretty good against Shadow Vic, so as long as I take out this Bast fast enough, I should be okay. The other thing is, I have to deal with all these flamethrowers, and I think my opponent is undercharging their moves, and I'm not really sure why, because none of their moves are dealing as much damage as I think they should. But yeah, in comes Wigglytuff. This isn't bad. So it is the classic, Razor Leaf and Charmer in the back in this case, and that works much better for Granbull. In this case, I throw an Earthquake. I really didn't need to throw this first. We're going to throw it and then go into Granbull. Yeah, should have just got out originally, but Granbull has this unique characteristic that I talked about earlier, where it can reach a close combat versus Bastiodon before it gets farmed down, or really if you have that energy advantage before Bastiodon gets to a move, so you can just straight up win shield advantage back for Bastiodon. And I think there might be a game or two in here where you win switch because they think you're baiting or something like that with a crunch. So there are a lot of options for this team. And I do think Shadow Granbull is probably the best charmer to draw out the Bastiodon. In this case, we have Nidoqueen lead. This is a bit tough. Obviously, I don't want that Nidoqueen on my backline, but Stunfisk beats Nidoqueen. Can't shield the first one, though, because if you do shield the first one and they Poison Fang you, then the next Earth Power is going to KO you. So that's how you can lose to Shadow Nidoqueen, or Nidoqueen. If you don't, you can just go straight Earthquake, I think, and just win every time. In comes Scrafty, so I'm going to go out right away. By switching into Granbull, I bait out their Charmer. If I'd swapped into Altaria, then, well, we'd have Altaria against this Charmer instead, which would be a lot of a harder situation. And I'm going to need that Granbull. I don't need the Granbull against the Scrafty because I have Altaria for the Scrafty. Even though Granbull is the much better answer, Granbull is also a better answer to the other Charmer in the back. So that's why we still switch into Granbull, even though it is the better answer for Scrafty there. So this game kind of just shows that. And we're going to not shield the first one. Remember, if they do have a buffing move, don't shield that first move. It's going to deal way more damage if you shield a power-up punch first. So I know shields, they're bait, and we're going to get 4 wins here. Only loss is a loss where I didn't shield the Hydro Cannon. So definitely winnable games. That's 5 winnable games for this team already. And let's see how this keeps up. Doing a Alolan Marowak lead. This is a neutral-ish lead. But at the same time, my Shadow Granbull can't deal with it while Altaria can, so I do have to stay in. Just gonna go for the bait here versus the Marowak. They grab the shields and force them to throw right away. So yeah, this matchup is pretty good for Marowak. But we're gonna come with Altaria. I just hope they don't switch out, but they do. So in comes their Altaria, and Shadow Granbull has some pretty good play here. You're gonna be able to just charm all the way down. You don't need to shield. You can take a Sky Attack. And then come out with almost a move here. So we're going to be able to get to a crunch and see if we can't force that second shield. So Shadow Granbull able to take that Altaria matchup and leverage it into a defense drop on this Marowak, alongside the fact that I get the last shield, and then I'm kind of getting flashbacks here from them throwing the first Shadow Bone and I myself having 2 shields and not shielding it. And here we go, Umbreon in the back. This is what we were looking for. So I accidentally go a little bit over 100 energy. That's just getting used to Moonblast. This Altaria is Moonblast, by the way. I didn't point that out, but I think you do need a Community Day Altaria for this team. I don't think Dragon Pulse is good enough, and this is why. Look how much damage that Moonblast does. It's mainly for Umbreon and Mandibuzz. Versus Sableye, usually Sky Attacks are good enough anyways, but I think you will see a couple examples in this video where I am able to Moonblast that Sableye out of existence as well when shields are down, which they might be, because as far as a Charmer goes, Shadow Granbull is pretty good at getting shields down. You kind of have to shield whatever Shadow Granbull throws, so between him and G Stunfisk, then you can usually deal with it all. Neutral lead there, so I'm going to go into Shadow Granbull, and we get this Stunfisk out here. They're going to throw a bit early. That's a Rock Slide. And I throw the Crunch. I really should have thrown the Close Combat, because that would mean less farm for this G Stunfisk, as they're going to shield anyways. And it's not in farm range for my G Stunfisk, so I do have to worry about this a little bit. I'm going to shield 1 Earthquake, because if I shield 1 Earthquake, then I think I can or 2 Earthquakes, I think I can get a pretty big energy advantage here, which is important for G Stunfisk. I'm over 100 energy now, but I can just farm all the way down, and in comes Pelipper. So this matchup, it doesn't work like it used to. Weather Ball nerfed, so Pelipper doesn't win the 1 shield versus G Stunfisk anymore. You can just go straight Rock Slide, and you live 2 Weather Balls. Unfortunately, I have taken a little bit of extra damage, but it is what it is. I'm expecting like a Venusaur or something in the back at this point, or Tropius, so I'm just staying in trying to eliminate this Pelipper with my G Stunfisk. Then in comes Altaria, so a bit of a bad team read for me. This is going to cause my Altaria to go down. I have to go for the Sky Attack here, because I know my opponent's going to go for the Moonblast, and Moonblast is a 1-hit KO, so I need to get this Altaria down into a Rock Slide range, and then hope that my G Stunfisk can beat this Altaria to a move, and it's going to get there just in time, and we're going to be able to win this one too. So if I just swapped my Altaria earlier into that Pelipper, this game would have been an easy win for me. Instead, I decided to play it the hard way and make a team read and play off of that. But the team read was not that great, but it makes sense, right? G Stunfisk and Altaria, they're a pretty good core too, and no one really talks about that. But this core is it's very solid. It's very solid. So we have this Venusaur lead. This is a tough lead. Granbull is not very good versus, but Altaria is great. So unfortunately, I'm going to switch to Granbull anyways and try and bait out their tank. In this case, we do have Bastiodon. I probably should have thrown my energy first, but it is what it is. We'll go for the Close Combat, and this happens sometimes. So they don't shield it, able to get switch advantage, and it is Azu, which is not ideal. This is one of the only core breakers for the Altaria G Stunfisk matchup. I'm going to throw this Rock Slide to just get a shield. I'm definitely going to shield up everything here. My Altaria can't do anything, not do anything to this Azu. So, whereas G Stunfisk is not bad. G-Fisk is, it's just checked, I would say, by Azu. But if you bait correctly, you can just you can win these matchups. So I'm going to throw the Earthquake here, see if they shield. They managed to call my shields perfectly, which is incredibly annoying. Yeah. They no shielded that Earthquake, or sorry, they shielded Earthquake, no shield the Rock Slide. They're gonna come with the Venusaur. At this point, it's all about the farm down, right? It really does not matter how much health my Altaria has. It just has to have enough energy to take out this Azu before they're able to get to a move. And 2 Sludge Bombs isn't gonna KO, not even with the Vine Whips. And I'm gonna be at a Moonblast here. Gonna be 100 energy even. Gonna get this Moonblast off against the Azu, and that'll be more than enough to take out that Azu. Even with that core breaker in the back, and it's not that strong of a core breaker, especially if it's if you can get some damage from Granbull onto it, you can take out Azu, no problem. Registeel, did I queue it for remix? I don't think I did, because I'm running the G-Fisk. So in this case, Registeel is going to get to the Focus Blast just before you're getting to Earthquake. That's fine, because it doesn't deal that much damage. Just got to hit it back with this Earthquake, and this is why this matchup is good for G Stunfisk, because if you do hit it, You can just farm all the way down. Not a bad matchup at all. Regirock's a bit harder because Focus Blast does more damage. Then comes Politoed, and I'm going to swap out. I decided my G Stunfisk has enough HP. But look at what's in the back. It's a Cherrim. If they don't have tanky Pokemon that resist Charm, or Pokemon that resist Charm, Granbull just eats through them. It's absolutely insane. So Granbull's going to be able to shield once, take down that Cherrim, and then throw the resultant Crunch at this Politoed, grab another shield because you have to shield Granbull, and then... shield against Granbull. And then we're going to see a Surf from Politoed. I mean, this is actually viable now, right? Because Weather Ball got nerfed. So Surf is better. I wasn't sure if people were memeing with me. But I think it has a higher TP or something now. Not that I think it's a better move. I really think you should still be running Weather Ball on your Politoed. But I do think that might be why we're seeing Surf on Politoed here. Just for that extra bulk. No one's shielding Weather Balls anyways, right? So... gonna be able to take out or win that game as well. Shadow Granbull once again doing a pretty decent job. That's what happens when there's no counter to Shadow Granbull on the switch. Most of the time you're just gonna get a switch, a shield. So I'm gonna swap in, and Medicham brings out the Bastiodon. But once again with this energy lead, I'm gonna be able to get to that close combat. First, we throw it right away so that they get less farm on their Bastiodon. Those flamethrowers do add up, but at the same time we do have a shield. And this makes it look not too bad for... Actually, I think this was the game where they thought I was double Charmer. But surprise, it is not. Yeah, so I'm just going to keep taking this damage. At this point, I have to kind of hope that Altaria can carry this game for me with a little bit of damage from G Stunfisk with 2 shields. So I'm going to swap into Altaria right away. Medicham comes in. And I no shield this first one. Power Up Punch. I thought I had to because I thought it was a G Stunfisk in the back. But at this point, I'm like, wait a second. If they're staying in, it's not G-Fisk. So, gonna shield up the Psychic. And it's a Sableye in the back. So, this was not the game I was talking about. Sorry, I jumped the gun on that one. But like I said, I just go straight for the Moonblast. Because I know I'm gonna make it to 2 here before they're able to make it to 2. Yeah, shield up the Foul Play. That Medicham shouldn't be able to get to another Psychic. And we're going to be able to Moonblast that Sableye and then take out this Medicham. So Moonblast paying off. I mean, Dragon Pulse never pays off. So you might as well have a single moved Altaria at that point. Except it's only 10,000 dust to do. So you might as well double move it anyways. But yeah, 5-0. So that's 9 out of 10 wins with the 1 loss being a very winnable loss. And now, very excited for this next set. So many items. I'm going to try and maximize the amount of Sinnoh Stones I'm going to get out of this one. Everybody loves Sinnoh Stones. So we have a Bastiodon lead. That's a good start. In comes Jellicent. I really wanted to see what they had first as far as moves go before switching in. And I'm lucky that they revealed to me that they're running Bubble Beam. The Earthquake now because I don't think it's likely to be shielded. And because it's Bubble Beam Jellicent, I can just go in with Altaria. And we're going to farm all the way down. So this is a good farm for Altaria. There's no Ice Beam to be worried about. The only thing I have to worry about is multiple Shadow Balls. And they go for the Bubble Beam anyways, so... My attack is getting debuffed a little bit. I'm not stuttering there because of lag. I'm stopping attacking. I don't want to take this Jellicent out right away. I'm trying to stall the clock a little bit. But what I forgot is that our clocks are desynced. So, big misplay by me. Instead of taking out this Jellicent, I unfortunately don't. And I'm now met with this Bastiodon. So, I'm able to switch out last second into my Stunfisk. I'm going to save my Altaria for a sack later if I need it. Since their switch timer is also already up. And I didn't want them to get any more farm on this Bastiodon. We're just going to go straight for the Earthquake. And they let it through. Bastiodons don't usually like shielding that. In comes Medicham. Going to go for big Rock Slide here. Which they're obviously not going to shield. But now it's kind of Shadow Granbull's turn. If Shadow Granbull can't deal with the rest of this team, it's over. Yeah, going to shield once. Power Up Punch. And we're going to be able to take them down before they're able to do anything. Yeah, they try to switch. But, oh yeah, sorry. They don't have 2 Pokemon left. That was the Jellicent. That was like the 1 HP Jellicent in the back. So, no problem taking that down. I think this was the game. No game, no life. Yeah, so we have the Sableye lead. Yeah, I think this was the game. So I'm going to swap right into Granbull and force out their Bastiodon. I kind of thought it would be a G-Fisk in the back, but it's a Bastiodon. So we're going to throw the close combat. And I think at this point they think it's double charm. So going with the Bastiodon doesn't really matter where you go in with that Bastiodon. Not able to charm through that. Come back in with the G-Fisk. We have shield advantage, and the thing about this is because you know the lead matchup already, you don't need shields on your G-Fisk. You know you can take out this Bastiodon without shields, and you can save 2 shields for your Altaria. And that's your win condition now, right? And Altaria is a very tanky Pokemon, has a lot of good matchups in the meta. It's still very possible to win these, so we'll go into Altaria and see what's in the back, and yes, it's a Venusaur. So yeah, he told me after the game he thought it was double charm. If it's double charm, you want to save your Venusaur for the second charmer, because Bastiodon is that guaranteed, like they can't 2-shield through it. I'm not sure if Shadow Granbull can 2-shield through Venusaur, but it would be very, very close, as opposed to Bastiodon where you can't really do too much about it. Alright, G-Fisk lead. This is honestly a bit of a terrifying lead. They're a turn behind though, so I'm just going to go for Earthquake right away. It's almost certainly going to get shielded, but that's okay. Just need to get these shields down. I think I decided to shield this one too. I just want to get the health down of this G-Fisk a little bit. I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake. It looks like I win CMP here. So I'm going to grab another shield. I could technically just go for the Earthquake and win CMP again, but they'll likely catch it on something. So I decide to let my G-Fisk go down. I'm going to come in with the Granbull. And that didn't seem like enough, but I shield anyways, and it's a Rock Slide. And they have to Rock Slide again. They know I'm going to get to a move otherwise. So I'm just going to farm this G-Fisk down at that point. And I have a move to throw at whatever comes in. And that's not what you do with a lot of energy. That's called throwing the game. If I'd thrown the close combat, would have dealt a ton of damage to that A9. And I might have been able to farm it down with the Altaria. But that would have been very tough. That would have been very tough. So this game, this is sometimes what happens when you lead G-Fisk. Very high skill Pokemon. Galvantula comes in, you just win the game. Yep, that'll just happen sometimes. Although I do find it weird that someone will build a team without an answer to G-Fisk at all. But, or G-Fisk lead, because I feel like G-Fisk is probably the most common Pokemon in Open. So here we go, another G-Fisk counter. We're going to swap right into Shadow Granbull. Oh yeah, they're AFK, so I wait for them to come back. I'm not in the business for pushing leaderboards right now. I want people to have fun. They're going to come in with Bastiodon. I'm not throwing close combat right away because I thought I might be able to get to multiple moves, but I was wrong, so I should throw in the close combat earlier. Yeah. So they get a little bit of extra farm out of that. I'm going to wait down the switch timer because they didn't switch and I did. So we're going to come with G-Fisk, wait down the timer. My timer's almost up, so we should be safe for a switch out here. And I know that it's likely if they're staying in, they do have an answer for the G-Fisk, but in this case, it's just Lick a Tongue, which is not an answer. I'm going to go into the Altaria and not shield anything. Any amount of health that's remaining on this Altaria is just farm for the Bastiodon. Altaria can't do anything, so the goal here is to get pretty low and then have this G-Fisk come back in versus that Bastiodon and just take it out. But I think you guys can see, hopefully by now, where the win condition for this is going. I'm not throwing any moves. I have 2 Sky Attacks to kind of stall the switch timer. And we don't want this Altaria to take any damage here, because that's just more energy for the Bastiodon. So throwing our Sky Attacks, and then switching to G-Fisk, it works out perfectly timing-wise. And we're going to be able to take this Bastiodon down. I think this is the last game of this set, and therefore the video. So another 4-1. So 13 out of 15 wins. I know that's not that impressive because it's the first day, but if you go back and watch, which you shouldn't, I guess, but if you look at the poses or whatever of my opponents, a lot of them are legend poses. So besides the couple of Spice teams that we did hit, the quality of competition is very high. And there we go, 2 Sinnoh Stones. Oh, I wish it was 4, but it is what it is. Yeah, so that's the video. Had a lot of fun with this team. I know it's early in the season. I will probably revisit this team. Maybe not in a YouTube video, but I will be playing it later. I think it has a lot of potential. As a team, I think Shadow Granbull's been completely underutilized, and I think that with the addition of Cofagrigus to the meta, dark types, which are already very strong, are going to be more prevalent. So getting that Shadow Charmer and getting used to it might be useful for some upcoming battles in the meta. Yeah, that's the video. Please let me know if you enjoyed it in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.